Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Mr. Garcia, here to show you and explain how did I did my Dell Precision T5400 in this custom Cooler Master case. Yes, it's been a long time, and I'm apologizing that I didn't make this video sooner than I thought, due to the fact I was just too busy and then I needed time of my own. But yeah, today I'll be explaining how did I make this computer work, as should I say. And also, excuse me, I'm apologizing one more time that I cannot explain things as I can. Sorry. But anyways, yes. So yeah, this is my T5400 custom computer. As I say, you can see all the gauges, and then the rocker switches. Got the fan controller. And you also got a second monitor. And yes, it does work. And it's Android in it. You got the regular, I know you can't see, a little light. Can't see, but you got the fan controllers, knob style. Got the nice Cooler Master in the front. You also got something hidden behind there. A little UV meter. I'll show you that in another video. But let's get started. Let me just open the case up and show you the inside. It might be a little dark in there, but let me see. You can see that the power supply. Now you can see a little clearly all of the gauges. You can see the CPUs back, to CPU coolers. You can also see the RAM. And then my GTX 750 Ti, which is pretty bad, a good car for the price for this type of computer. You can see all the cables and wirings, all the messed up. I do want to clean that easily. But let's just talk about how this works. So when you get your Dell Precision T500 in the original case and original Dell, you get something like this. This is the original motherboard. This one, I have no idea what happened. It fried or something happened. I don't know. But luckily, I got another one replaced right away. But let's get on to it. First thing is that the motherboard will not come like this, facing upwards, where the RAM is on the left top corner and then the CPU is on the right. You'll get the motherboard something like this. Inside the computer case, where the CPU is in the bottom and then the RAM is in the bottom right corner, and then all the expansion slots in the top part. Normally computers don't come like this. Normally you have the CPU right here, you got the expansion slots right over here, and then the RAM is in between them. But since this is a different type of motherboard, or a server board as they call it, Dell made it some weird way. But if you look closely, you can actually put it in a regular way. So as I show you, if inside the computer case will be like this, where the I/O ports is in the bottom. But if you flip it all the way around like this, you can actually put it inside in a normal computer case. Like this one right here, where the I/O panel is on the normal spot where it should be, but still it's kind of weird that the RAM is still there next to the I/O chute, and then the CPUs are still there. And then you got the PCI Express slots in the correct spot. So that's what I first discovered, that if you turn the motherboard around like how I did, where the I/O ports is up instead of right here, you can actually put it in the case. Now it's maybe tricky because this motherboard is pretty big, especially has this notch in the side here. So you need to find a case really big. So the only thing I was searching, trying to find a case for this, and I come up with this Cooler Master case. Now I may forgot what case it is. I might put it in the description in the video. But when I found this case, it was pretty big and nice. I like it. So I discovered that yes, luckily this motherboard can fit right in on the stock post and all the posts inside of the motherboard when you install it inside the case. The only thing I had to do was cut right in there. Oh, I wish I have a flashlight around here. It's like right inside there, but yeah. So the other thing you got to do is cut just a little bit for that notch. This notch right here. Right here. That little notch. Just right on this part of the case. Other than that, it fits perfectly. You got everything fits. All the express PCI slots fit in the case. You know, you got the I/O ports in the perfect spot. So you can see right here. I need to put flashlight on. Hey, sorry about that. A little pause in the video. I found a little flashlight so we can see a little better. Alright, there we go. So as you can see right there, I did a little bit of cutting. Yep, there goes the little cuts. With the Dremel tool I had to use. Cut a little notch so all the wires can go through and the notch and the motherboard can fit. And then let me show you the back side. Yep. But unfortunately, due to the fact that the I/O shield is part of when you get your Dell Precision T5400, the I/O shield is built into the case, so you cannot have your own plate on this. Which for me, I don't mind. You know, it is what it is. You can see all the plugs and stuff. But anyways, so there are a few things that might encounter. First is the CPU coolers. Luckily, once again, this case, since it fits so perfectly, the screw holes to screw this in actually has its own hole. So I didn't need to Dremel new holes in it. I'll show you in a bit. The other downside is you need to buy an aftermarket RAM cooler fan kits. Bought these from Amazon, HyperX. Pretty cool. Nice cool blue color LED fan. And it keeps all my DIMM slots nice and cool. I have 32 gigs of it. Already fully loaded. And it keeps it nice and cool. Which this temperature gauge shows me the RAM temperature. Yes, it usually goes a little above, you know, the red mark. But it's okay. I also got a brand, you know, a GeForce GTX 750 Ti. And let me tell you, this graphics card can do anything. Almost anything. Right now I have GTA Grand Theft Auto for the PC, and it works nicely with this computer. With the dual Xeons, quad cores, and total of 8 cores. We'll be soon upgrading to 3.0 gigahertz. Right now it's at 2.5. And I also got an old school sound card. And also in the bottom of that, another internet port card. Got the original Dell 850 watt power supply. And once again, it fits nicely in this case, but in upside down position. The other thing you might consider is that yes, the cables are short, but once again, both pins fit nicely. As you can see, the first one right there and the second one right there. So I don't have to buy an extension for it. Luckily, they're just right there. You may also notice that there is a custom LED light going around the case. Unfortunately, right now it's kind of buggy. I might have to buy a brand new LED case. This is a dream color LED strip, so it does all the crazy colors you want it. Unfortunately, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's either the controller or the power to the strips. We'll be fixing that soon. I also put the original Dell fan above the RAM. Dell fan above the RAM. So hopefully to keep this the RAM sticks cool, because these things do get hot. Because they're for server made, but they get really hot. So luckily these two work very good. Blowing fan in there, and the top fan also pushes more air inside the RAM section. As for cooling the CPU blocks, just basic 2 fans right above against the CPU blocks. Unfortunately, all this stuff, yes, I zip tie everything. You know, it looks goofy, not professional, but you know, it gets the job done. As you might see, there's the Android. Little Android stick that connects to this monitor right here. Nice big 7-inch monitor. It does work, and they have Android on it. And all the rocker switches, some of them are in use, some of them are later for other expansions. For example, this one right here. These two right here are for the fans, all the fans controlling the inside computer. Now, granted that this computer is running on two power supply. This is the main one for all its work, for its basic work, for the CPU, the GPU, and all stuff. But to consider the fact that I kind of want to split the power, because I don't want to stress this out. You know, I don't know if I am or not. I gotta find a way to test that. But yeah, this is a max 850 watt power supply, I believe. Let me see if we give that a little focus. I'm also recording this on the Galaxy Note 4 just to see how it will go, because the other power supply is right there. A little secondary power supply to power the rest of the fans and the monitor, the little mini monitor that's up there, and then everything else. So once again, it's just basically you gotta find a big case to put this type of motherboard in. You gotta realize that there are a few things that are different from a normal motherboard, a gaming motherboard, as you can say. For example, Dell doesn't have the basic, pins to power, reset, and hard drive LED indicator. Unfortunately, they don't. And it's right, as you can see, they don't have that type. So the way I turn this computer on is I still have to use the original power reset and USB connection cable that's in the computer originally. As you can see with the yellow one right there. And unfortunately, since that cable is so short for this type of case, it will not reach anywhere near this section at all. And there is no extension cables, and I couldn't find anything to extend it. And I tried it multiple times, and believe me, it didn't work. So the only downside to this, to turn on the computer, is right here. Right here. Expose little board. The little button right there to turn the computer on, and then the USB ports. And you got the jack and audio that's coming out there and inside the computer. So that's the only downside to this computer. It's like I gotta reach around the back of the computer to turn it on, but I'm already used to it. Cabling wise, management, I did my best to manage all these cables, a bunch of cables, push them all inside that little corner to get all the airflow in it. But trust me, this computer gets nice and cool with air inside of it. Got the above those. Let me put the phone down. Above those two fans that I add extra is another 20mm fans right above here. These two, yes, it's kind of a little dirty. I'm also cleaning it today. And then on the door, got another one right there, pushing cool air inside the case, and especially on the GPU. And when I always check temperatures, everything's nice and cool. The GPU stays above nice and cool around 40 Celsius. CPUs are always nice and cool, but in the future, we're planning to water cool this board. We're gonna plan to water cool both of those CPUs with either a closed loop or an actual open loop. Well, we'll see what happens in the future. It'll be really nice to have a water cool computer, especially no one has ever done this on a Dell motherboard. We wanted to try something new, but first we wanted to upgrade the CPUs to 3.0 gigahertz for a little bit of boost, in performance. Right now it has 1 terabyte hard drive, another 300 gig hard drive, and I believe another 250. I believe 3 hard drives in total. I can still fit about another 3 more as I can. Yeah, also got another fan in the front blowing cool air into the hard drives. And you may be wondering where I got these gauges. I got these gauges from an old school computer. I have it right here. Let me show you. It came from this type of case. Some of you may remember these types. Some of you may not. They still sell them on eBay and on Amazon. I just took out all those gauges in the front. I might be adding more of these in the computer, but I took them out and put it on this computer. I think it looks nice. Especially I like the exposed circuit board and stuff. All the exposed circuit board and all the wires. I kind of like that stuff. But yeah, I mean, and you also got, one of those fans that display messages when it's spinning. Function right now is a little bit buggy. I might have to buy a new one in the future. But right now it gets the job done. A little display on the window. And trust me, this computer is bright. It glows in the night with all the blue LEDs running. Especially with the LED strip running too. It makes a little nice cool LED show. So let me show you the back of the computer, the other side. Just drop one of them screws. Let me just turn this computer around so we can show you how it is, how terrible it is. The back of the computer, all the cables and stuff. All right. Yep. As you can see, it's just a bundle of mess. It's a bundle of mess. I've been trying to keep this organized, zip tying everything. Luckily, nothing gets short or nothing like that crazy happens behind here, but I did my best to clean all this up. This is terrible. All of this is terrible. But you can also see right there, those screws are the ones that screw in the CPU block. It came from the original case, so you don't have to worry about getting, some screws to screw it in. It works nicely. You may have to fumble with it at times, because it was really tricky for me to put both CPU blocks and then try to make it nice and tight on top of the CPU to make sure it gets contact. Had to do it a few times, to get it fit, but it works, nicely. But the thing is that you have to put the screws in the reverse way. Granted that these, when you take the CPU blocks off of this motherboard, screws are on top instead of on the bottom. So for that, you have to put these in the bottom, the reverse way, which is I did. As you can see, they're behind the case instead of the front of it. Let me see if I can focus. Right. Yeah, this. As you can see, there goes 1, 2, 3. Get the 4. Get all of the screws holding the CPU block, which it made great contact. You know, it worked. And once again, this case just works flawlessly. I'm gonna put the case description of what it is in the link in the link in the description box below in the video, so you can buy one of these cases to go with your motherboard. But yeah, this is how it is. As you can see, the LED strip just goes down in the bottom, and it glows underneath the case, but not anymore. It's been tweaking lately. So yeah, I mean, once again, it's just a trial and error to make sure that the motherboard fits in nicely. I mean, granted that you'll realize that the screws to screw it down is right. It's on point. Don't have to do extra holes. Don't have to do extra drilling. It fits nicely. Nice and snug. It's just the only part you have to do is cut this section of the case. If you're gonna get this case, you're gonna have to cut this section, no matter what. And the other thing is that the original fans that come with come with this computer, with this motherboard, since they're not the original pins, let me show you. Alright, I mean that one right there, the black with the black posts in it, and the one there. No, these are not, you know, your typical fan headers. These are something else. That's why I had to went and bought myself a fan controller to go with all of the cooling and the necessary needs. That's why the other problem is when I turn the computer on, it says error. There's no RAM fan or cooler, but it's just a simple. Just press F1 to continue. It doesn't really harm the computer as much. Also add another fan just to blow upwards, and trust me, you need good cooling around your RAMs, because these things will get hot if you don't find a necessary coolant to do it. You got the nice little fan in the back that sucks all the hot air out. No. But once again, one tip is to find good cooling RAM fan sticks, if I pronounce it right. Yeah, sorry about that. Not me explaining stuff really good. No. But once again, something like these HyperXs, I was gonna get them in black, but I was in a little bit of a hurry, so I just chose to give me the blue ones instead. And I bought 2 of them. If you have full sticks in these motherboards, like me, I have 32 gigs. You're gonna have to buy 2 of these to cool them all. Especially, and since this case came with a fan, with only one fan on the top, you're gonna have to buy another one to put it over this section, so it can blow cool air inside and directly on the RAM sticks. And it's been working lately. But that the original fan is still up there from the original case, and it goes really loud. It's hooked up to the controller, so when I flip the knob, it goes really fast and it cools air nicely, but it's just loud. I just keep it there on low. GPU stays nice and happy. Just one pin, 6 pin that powers it. Happy with that. Happy with the case, the way it turned out. Took a while to put everything together. You know, granted that it needs a little bit of tweaking. It's still a work in progress. Lately, we've been on hold. You know, we're having ideas. Once again, I want to water cool it. You know, make a nice, cool water loop system. It's a little expensive right now. We're on a little tight budget on this stuff. But yeah, everything works nicely. I've been running this computer for almost 1 year without any problems at all. The only problem was the first time when for some strange reason, the computer wouldn't turn on anymore. I So I figured it might be a short that one of the pins shorted out on that motherboard. So lucky for me, that's the other thing. You gotta be careful not to put the motherboard against this type in the case. It may short it out or something. But I didn't know. I don't know what's wrong. But I just bought a new motherboard as soon as that one broke down. Bought that right away. Get the computer up and running. But once again, this computer is a beast. I mean, I was looking for something with dual CPU sockets in it. This computer might be old. I believe they released this computer in 2007. So yeah, it might be old, but this thing is a workhorse. Literally. It's running Windows 7. We might run Windows 10 in the future, but at the moment we love Windows 7. Can't go wrong. Got hooked up to this computer's hooked up to my big monitor. Got my keyboard. Got the keyboard. Sound comes from the surround sound that's running my place. As you can see, the both speakers there, and then the speaker right there, and there. So nice sound off of it. Got the basic mouse, basic computer mouse, generic gaming mouse off of Amazon. About $15. Not bad. I was hoping to get something better, you know. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. The only thing you gotta do is you gotta play around with it. You know, put the motherboard in, see how it fits. You know, start screwing it in, start plugging in all the stuff. But once again, if you're gonna get this case, you know, it originally came with the I/O shield for basic gaming motherboards, but I took that out since it won't work anymore. So I don't know what I'm gonna do in that section. I might do something cool to it. Cause right now the only thing I did is put this big monitor, big 7-inch monitor, nice and cool. That's running Android off of this little Android stick right here. As you can see right there, Android stick. And then the other thing I like what I say is, let me show you one more time. Is that the I/O panel to power on, reset, and all that stuff for your computer. The only spot I could think of, sorry for the camera angles, is right there. I had to zip tie it against this computer. I put electrical tape behind the board so it won't short. So far, it's been doing good. So yeah, that's the only downside is that I gotta reach around to turn the computer on. Consider I could not use the original power and reset on this type of computer, since these are specially designed to work with the Dell cases, not with any other type. So yeah, I mean, the only thing is one more time but you need to get good cooling, and what you also need to get is a fan controller, because once again, you cannot plug any of these fans inside this motherboard. You gotta get a fan controller so you can run and cool all of your stuff, CPU, RAM, and then that's it. And then the external fans like this one, and I'm above those two. That's pretty much it. I mean, once again, this has been powered by 2 power supply. The second one's down there. Yes, I have to reach down there to power that one first. And then one of the lights and the switches will tell me